Alrighty, welcome back everyone. It is LaughNgamez here. I'm back and it is time for another Starcraft 2 1 vs 1 Probots cast. I know, 2 days in a row, assuming I upload these back to back. Yeah, awesome to see that the Starcraft 2 bot scene is still incredibly strong. And then we've got SharpenedEdge in the top left, bot that I've cast before. I believe, from what I recall of SharpenedEdge, that it was always fun to watch because it built up these sort of bigger Protoss ground armies. Then would attack in, which was always exciting to see. And then taking it on, this is hard mode as far as casting goes. Caninana? Can you do the Caninana can? Anyway, yeah. Good to see another ZVP between these bots. I do like the Zerg bots. I feel like it's just going to be a very hard thing to program. Zerg bots. I don't know what bot's the hardest one to program. I feel like Zerg probably is quite a challenge. But anyway, all these bot authors do great, and oh my gosh, SharpenedEdge is doing the dirt. Going for the 4-gate proxy. This is a build I do on ladder against Zerg. Caninana has no idea that this is coming, so we'll have to see. We see Tag P Zergling 8-7. I wonder what that means. Is that like a percentage chance, maybe? Maybe it had something to do with the Overlord seeing the probe. Anyway, I would love to know that. But we've already got a Zealot on the way out for SharpenedEdge. Just going for the big old dirtiest Zealot rush. Now, I know that this works in my ladder builds, because the Zergs have a hard time reacting to it. Like, they don't have infinite APM, so you send a Zealot into a mineral line, it causes a lot of chaos. Now, whether Caninana is going to have a proper response to this, we'll have to wait and see. It's already gone for an earlier pool compared to the hatchery timing, so it's got that in its back pocket, which is a good start. But the Zealots are very beefy, and then it's all going to depend on the micro of SharpenedEdge too. Before these Zealots take the dive, though, ladies and gentlemen, go ahead and hit that like button. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, join the Discord that's linked down below, and most importantly, if you enjoy these bot games, comment more bots down below. We've got 5 Zealots moving in. They're going to do the stutter step, and we'll see. Can something like one Zerg like derp them out or not? No, it seems that they've got a pretty good control here from SharpenedEdge. You imagine you wouldn't program a bot to do a build like this unless it was solid at it. Some of the Zealots chase a couple of drones, that's good, but some stayed attacking the hatchery. All in all, they take a good fight there. The Zealots losing some shields, but this hatchery is in a lot of trouble. There's a Spine on the way, a Roach Horn on the way for Caninana, but SharpenedEdge is already getting some work done. That hatchery is donezo, it seems. The Queen is now getting attacked by the Zealots. She's going to angrily attack those Zealots, saying, don't destroy my hatchery. A couple of Lings are out, so maybe these Zealots will get cleaned up. They're not turning to fight. They're just focused on that hatchery in the main base. All the Zealots got cleaned up, and by gosh, that seemed like it was scrappy, but then all of a sudden, Caninana pulls it together. The Zealots, not necessarily making the correct decision there. It was just 2 Lings and a Queen on them. It's one of those things. It's almost impossible to program that every little circumstance. But if those Zealots had turned for a second, killed the Lings, then gone back to attacking the hatchery, it's like, maybe they'd have got it. All about the focus firing and whatnot. Now, Caninana responded to that pretty darn well. It did, of course, take damage, having a big hit to its economy, although now it's saying changing. Decision to economy S1000. OF 5500 versus 3. That's I wonder what those values are. I imagine that it's like certainty or something, but oh my gosh, SharpenedEdge coming back in. Not one to give up, going in for yet another big old attack here. These Zealots charging on in, and there's roaches for Caninana, but I didn't expect this many more Zealots coming out. There's no Overlord that's been hovering over this, so neither did Caninana. Now, there is a lot of spines. There is roaches that can micro Zealots virtually indefinitely. There's also burrow out, which is a big deal too. These roaches will literally never die as long as there's proper micro. The drone's also being saved with the burrow there. They're unburrowing. They want to keep their head in the sand for a little while longer. Now these roaches have got to micro against the Zealots, but they will. And they can just constantly play whack-a-mole. So these Zealots could be caught in a bit of a loop here, just literally trying to whack-a-mole these roaches, assuming those roaches unburrow. And they do. Look at that. Zealots turn around now. Really getting bugged out there. The hatchery did go down, but there's going to be potentially a very formidable counterattack here by Caninana. I should just be saying Can, because I know there's no way I'm pronouncing that right. Now, we have got a Nexus on the way for SharpenedEdge, so a transition following the Zealot rush, but when there's this much Zerg that could potentially come across the map with Burrow, it's not going to be easy to hold on if Caninana went for a strong attack. It does say changing decision to economy though, so it's potentially not going to go for a big follow-up. An Adept is moving across the map for SharpenedEdge, interestingly enough. These gateways have not been cleaned up. The Zealots do go home, which is good. They're going to definitely be needed to buy time if Can does cross the map, but there is no crossing the map just yet, so no punishment to the Protoss bot. So while that second attack did get sort of destroyed by the Roaches and their burrow, it looks like that it's just going to be a fine transition for SharpenedEdge. No harassment, so it's going to be up on workers. It's going to get up that extra Nexus, all the while Can is on low economy. And that's quite concerning. It said changing decision to economy, so I guess it's switching back and forth. I don't know how true those tags are. It says changing decision to economy. Looks like it may have been trying to get out another base there, but it is just making units, so it will potentially just be a big move out here from the Zerg bot, and this is not going to be easy to defend. Stalkers, of course, can micro against Roaches, but these are actually very trapped in the natural base. That is not good for SharpenedEdge. This would be where you'd potentially want to recall if it was on it a little bit earlier, but no such recall. The Stalkers just caught out and killed. Very unfortunate. We'll see if these other ones can buy time. It's one of those things. Can you keep your opponent's army busy forever? No, the Stalkers are getting whittled down by the Roaches. They are not going to micro indefinitely. Of course, no blink. So the Stalkers are going down. We'll see if the Roaches can find those gateways. They do not. They're still just staying at home, though. No hatchery has got up. A drone moves out, but then it hesitates. So there we go. Is it going to actually build the hatchery this time? That's what we'll have to wait and see. Tag sentries. So Caninana is really showing us all its decision making, which I really do like to see from bots. I'm not sure when it scouted the sentry. It might have sent an overlord across the map, or maybe it just saw a hallucination. Anyway, though, yeah, SharpenedEdge is just macroing up. The longer this goes on, the better it's going to be. Now, if those gateways get taken out, that would be a pretty big blow, but Can is not going to be doing that unless a unit seems to accidentally stroll over there. A lair's on the way, so I mean, spamming Roaches is a pretty solid strategy, but I don't know, SharpenedEdge is a pretty beastie bot when it comes down to building up a ground army. So, yeah, let's just wait and see. Can held on. Can Caninana hold on? I don't know. But yeah, the longer this game goes on, it's going to be quite a disaster for the Zerg. Let's see. Okay, Ling scouting. That's a big old Protoss ground army, and I mean, at this point, I think the Protoss ground army can probably just about take on the Zerg one. There's a Robo on the way as well. Look at that, there's Monster Energy on the side of that. I wonder what that's from. Who's sponsored by Monster? I guess that this might be the Team Liquid map contest version of this map. Or I wonder if that made it into the actual main map. That's a good question. Ling runs up. We see Can saying tag Hydralisk. I wonder what prompted it to do that, whether it was just the presence of the Robo, of the multiple sentries or what, but I guess it decides it needs Hydras. Hydras aren't half bad, but 2-base Hydra against a Protoss that's building up on 2 bases as well. It's going to be very tricky. Hydras do have better range, so they can scrap against unupgraded gateway units pretty well, but still, just the 2-base production, 24 drones is all that Can has. Those spine crawlers could definitely do with being repositioned towards the natural. That could potentially be some good behavior to program into the bot later on. Of course, they'll keep the main safe from some form of harassment, which is also important. But yeah, look at this SharpenedEdge now getting out of Warp Gate. I get the feeling there's going to be a move out pretty darn soon, and we'll have to see if the Zerg bot is going to be able to hold on. The Zerg bot just has not been macroing up, just staying on very, very low drones. We may potentially see a 3rd base go up soon, which is important. if the game's going to go on longer, but I don't know if this bot's going to hold on. It keeps changing its mind as to what it's doing, I guess just based off what it scouts. It does find this pylon, so these gateways will be unpowered. That's really going to cut into the production of SharpenedEdge, so we can imagine that that bot's going to see everything ballooning up soon. The stalkers were warped in time. Which is something interesting. The pylons are unpowered, but the stalkers keep warping on in. Maybe they should be cancelled. Who knows? Anyway, we see SharpenedEdge having its prism be identified. By, I believe, Ling's running in constantly. Those gateways are being killed off. SharpenedEdge is going to start ballooning in money, though. It's definitely going to need more production. We'll see if it's going to throw that down, as that could really turn things around. If it doesn't matter if SharpenedEdge has got 10 more workers and had a better economy most of this game. If it just starts pooling money and just producing off of one gateway and one robo. Now, it is getting blank. It's getting +1. The +1 will be very nice. However, Caninana is getting that Hydra range, which is an important upgrade. Getting Roach burrowed movement, tunneling claws. And so that's quite important. Now, yeah, look at this. The resource is just starting to balloon up for SharpenedEdge. An extra gateway is on the way now, which is good that it's sort of identifying this, but I think it's still going to be banking up quite a bit of resources here. And all the while, the army supply is fairly even now. So depending on the way the fight goes, this game could go either way. I'd like to see more Hydras here for the red Zerg. As it really does need that DPS. It's got a lot of roaches. The Hydras are really going to be the damage dealers. They just chew through stalkers, through sentries, even through immortals. They're pretty darn good against. So we'll see. Fourth hatchery on the way, which is a big deal too. The drone count's starting to go up a little bit for the red Zerg. So time does seem to be on the red Zerg side. We're seeing the big blue square. Interesting army movement by SharpenedEdge. Just the fact that it moves every single unit individually. A third base is now going up for the Protoss. Robo Bay on the way as well. Colossus could be huge here. Potentially Disruptors. Disruptor bots isn't something that we see all the time, but I would like to see it. An attempt at this Nexus keeps getting cancelled for some reason. Where's that probe going? What is that probe being called to? Is it being called into a gas? Where is he going? Or is it to build something else? Oh, it wants to build that pylon. Or was that it? No, it's just getting pulled back to build the minerals. Interesting there. So a bit of glitching there from SharpenedEdge. I'm curious exactly what took place there. Now, Hydra speed on the way. So that's important. Still only 3 Hydras, though. I would like to see more Hydras from the Can Man. Drone count's going up, though. A very healthy 65. Almost maxed out, as a matter of fact, is the red Zerg. Yeah, I really do want to see more Hydras, though. Hydras are a big deal. There we go. One more is being made. Eventually, the Zerg will max out. It's going to be able to make use of these 5 hatcheries as its drone count has gone up and up. A Disruptor is on the way for SharpenedEdge, though, so we're going to have to see, is Caninana going to be able to split against those Disruptor balls? We see Tag Corruptor put out, which is an interesting choice. I guess just, is that because it scouted the Robo Bay? No, it didn't. It's just electing to make Corruptors, maybe because it reconfirmed the Prism. I do not know. Still, though. Anyway, I really do love that the red Zerg has got those chat tags. They're a little bit spammy at times, but now it's saying, okay, it's seeing Disruptors, adept phase shift, so, what brought that on? Okay, maybe it did. No, I don't think it saw that researching. Anyway, we now see Caninana pretty much maxed out, so going to be attacking on in. This is potentially going to be big. I mean, Stalkers will melt against this Zerg army, but then it depends on the Disruptors, on the force fields, all that jazz. There's no Ravagers here, so those force fields will not be broken. It's just Guardian Shield. There's a couple of force fields going down. Looks like a pretty good attack at the ramp, though, but the Protoss army is still a little bit more formidable with the +2 attack. There's no attack or armor upgrades. Lots of hallucinated Archons actually being used to. Disruptor goes out. It is dodged. Burrowed Roaches being pulled back individually to heal to get the maximum value out of those units. Really, not too many losses for either side here just yet. More Hydras are being added in as Roaches die. for Caninana. That's actually something that I think is quite important here. They will do wonders. A Colossus is on the way out, though. That's going to be big as far as the backbone goes, big as far as taking on the Hydras go for SharpenedEdge. 1-1 is on the way, though, for Caninana, so getting those upgrades. Stalkers, Micron back against the Hydras. It's a good fight going on between these two. The Stalkers trying to get the value for SharpenedEdge. Caninana just needs to be careful not to overcommit here, as it is bleeding off units. I think at a bit of a quicker rate than SharpenedEdge, but I mean, units are definitely dying on both sides. Observer gets picked off there. More Lings, more Hydras on the way. There's even fungal growth being researched, and a Hive on the way for Caninana, so further tech is an option. Corruptors are out now too. That will potentially help with the Colossus, with the Prism. Caninana saying tag Thermal Lances forward. There's actually no Thermal Lance just yet. So I wonder if that's like, oh, there's Thermal Lance or there's no Thermal Lance. Yeah, I would love to interview some of these bot authors just to go through a repo and be like, all right, what exactly is that trigger? What exactly does that do and why? Now, Hydras skirmishing against Stalkers. Hydras are one of the better Zerg units, though, against Blink Stalkers, just because they have the high attack speed, the high range themselves, so Stalkers can't micro too efficiently against them, so a lot of them are dying, but then the Zerg is starting to wear a little bit thin as far as what's on the front lines. There's really just this infinite line, though, of units that are just heading back home to get healed up, transfused, and burrows, so that is an interesting behavior from Caninana. It's one of those things, like, in an endless fight, it will pay dividends, and it seems to be doing pretty darn well for the Zerg bot right now as those units come back to the front lines refreshed. The Protoss bot has lost quite a few Stalkers, 32 so far, but then again, units are dying on both sides. Neither player has folded just yet. It is just the Stalkers engaging for SharpenedEdge. At some point, you're gotta be like, okay, the whole army should be engaged in this instead of the Colossus just dancing a little bit. The Stalker count is really just becoming pitiful at this point. The worker count never really ballooned up. There still hasn't been a third base for SharpenedEdge. I should have pointed that out sooner, but that is such a glitch there by the blue bot, and that is potentially a game-ending glitch. In fact, it highly likely is. The lack of an expansion just yet, I don't know what caused that to happen, because the probe, it just went back into the main base, it looks like. No expansion. Maybe it's because it spends the money trying to engage, but I think Caninana is just going to win out here, though, as SharpenedEdge can't replace these units. It never got the new base. The Corruptors are going to reign pretty much uncontested, as the Stalkers all skirmish and die. And I do believe that the Red Zerg managed to hold off the rush and seems to have a pretty solid trickle as far as the way that it attacks on in. SharpenedEdge, unfortunately, blocked by the lack of that expansion. That just must have crippled that bot this game. And it just goes to show that little things really can snowball in these bot games, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm pretty sure that the Red Zerg has got this one at this point. So hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't, join the Discord, which is linked down below. Consider becoming a YouTube member if you want to support these, and yeah, stay tuned as I'll do some more of these videos, maybe cast a couple pro games if I can get my hands on some replays. SharpenedEdge seems like dishwashers really do blunt knives, so I imagine that's the bot becoming aware that it's dying. Yeah, but thanks so much everyone for tuning in. Keep an eye out in case there is a live stream or anything soon. I'll definitely try and do one or two of those over the next couple weeks that I have off. Okay. Yeah, the probe's being pulled is not a good sign. Brood Lords are out. Interesting choice to add Ravagers later in the game by Caninana. But yeah, GG, that's going to be it.